Ice Ultra is a 5-day, 230km self-sufficient race in the Arctic Circle. Forget the distance for a minute. You can expect temperatures to fall as low as -40 degrees Celsius. Terrain varies from long, flat, frozen lakes to steep-sided, snow-covered mountains. It's equal parts stunning Christmas card scenery to brutal, unforgiving wilderness. My name is Craig Williams and this is my journey to the Arctic Circle. I think where I'm different is I'm a bit of a lazy bastard. I don't actually enjoy running that much, but I put these big events into my diary just to give me some accountability and to force me to train. Otherwise, I just don't do it. It's a bit like the world record attempt that I'm planning right now. I usually plan these events, pay out loads of money, and then sit on my arse and do nothing. The preparation for this race was weird. I wasn't in a great place. I was so close to deferring. A good friend of mine, Tony, deferred until next year, and I was so close to doing the same thing. Hey guys, pretty freaking chilly this morning. Bit of frost on the ground, but at least the sun's out. Anyway, little update. I'm about a month away from the Ice Ultra. I'm supposed to be running right now. I'm not. My knees are just too bad, so I'm just taking a little rat out for a walk instead. I'm still pretty hopeful that I'll kind of get to the start line and give it a go. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing my mates out there. Training's just not going to plan, so anyway, we'll keep at it. I'm having lots of treatment on my knees and my Achilles and stuff, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Beautiful morning, freaking cold though. I'm just sort of thinking that weather like this, when it's bloody freezing, what the hell is it going to be like? You know, and there's some sunshine, what the hell is it going to be like in Sweden? I've been plagued with injuries. I went from having a tendon problem in my knee, which I had a lot of work on, to Achilles tendonitis on both ankles. Here we go, another massage with the Marash.
Yo.
How's it going?
Fine, thank you.
Well, tonight I'm just going to get a little quick calf blast from Ash, who really sorted my calves out last time. So here we go. It's probably going to get fucking painful, so if I scream, please send help, fucking hell. Give me some warning. And I just weren't in a great place. I would go out, and if I did any more than 4 or 5 miles in a training run, I was just buckled for days afterwards, right up until the point where it was time to fly out. I'm ready to go.
Oh gosh, here we go again. We got everything you need. Food to keep you going.
Yeah, it'll be alright. Everything. Right, see when I get back.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous. Right.
Listen, don't forget to ring me as soon as you can.
Okay.
Yeah?
Alright. Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, he's gone again. That's it. He's gone again. But to be honest, I don't know how he's going to do. He's had so many injury problems. His knees playing him up. His calves playing him up, his ankles playing him up, and this time it's been a bit different because it's not that he's not prepared as much, he's just not, he just didn't seem as, I don't know, as nervous about it as he has done before. Every single race that he's been on before, I've had to send him away to a hotel about 4 days beforehand to calm down and pull himself together. But this time he's just breezed out the door. And based on his last run, with the Rangers and, you know, all the issues that we had with that, I would have thought he would have been a bit more nervous. So I'm worried again, as usual, but we'll track him, and all I can do is hope that he does his best, which I know he will.
So the first couple of days then, I mean, I landed and I was quite happy actually that I decided that I was going to stay in Lille. There wasn't many people doing the ice ultra that stayed in Lille. Most people went up to Galavau. There was not a lot up there. And I got to spend sort of a day and a half just kind of walking around, doing my own thing, and getting my head and my kit and everything into order, ready for the race. So I'm just here in the hotel room. We get picked up tomorrow around lunchtime. I've got a little train journey to go on to get up to Galavau, which is where we get picked up, ready for the race. And I'm just using this time to go through the kit and make sure I've got everything. I think I've pretty much got everything. I'm happy with my choices, and I think that's the really important thing. When I was getting ready for the MDS, a lot of people was panicking about the kit, and I was sort of thinking, well, do you know what? In years gone by, people used to do these races in like plimsolls and carrying a bloody shopping bag, you know what I mean? They didn't have all this expensive kit in anything. You've just got to be happy with your choice. You've just got to know that the choice you've made is right for you based on whatever criteria you kind of set. So I did a lot of kind of visualizations then. Did a lot of meditations, and I would kind of visualize getting up in the morning, what I would do, sorting my kit out, getting dressed, making sure my food was ready, what am I going to do at checkpoint 2, and I would visualize it all right up to like the end of the day when I'm sorting my feet out and I'm getting my head down and I'm sleeping and all this, and I did a lot of meditation on that, and I'm glad I did really, because it helped me make some smart decisions when I was during the race, which is good, but also it kind of double checked the kit. The only thing I would change is, well, two things. First one is I would change the boxer shorts that I wore, because they were like, it was like a bloody cheese wire up my backside for the majority of the race, which is, it's not easy when you've got 2 pairs of gloves on and 2 pairs of trousers on and you're motoring through snow with snowshoes on. It's not easy to pick your boxer shorts out of your ass. And the other thing that I would change is the water bottles. My water bottles in my bag just sat a little bit too proud, so they was just kind of, you know, in my face, and that wasn't great. How am I feeling? I'm feeling intimidated. My Achilles is still not right. Get this burning sensation as I'm walking around the town. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. All I know is that I'm going to give it my best shot, and that's all I can do really. It really is going to hurt. I wish I had some skis, not bloody snowshoes. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready. Tonight I'm going to have a bit of light food and lots of hydration, get ready for my train journey in the morning, early start to get to Galavau and to get picked up, well, to meet up with all the other lads, which I'm really looking forward to. I just loved the idea of the environment before I went out there. Most years when I was in the Marines, we'd go out to Norway and we'd do Arctic training, and I loved it. It's a really clean environment, it's a really fresh environment. You actually feel like you're in the wilderness. The air smells differently because it's fresh, and it's an environment that tests you, because the consequences of getting things wrong are pretty steep. You lose a glove, you get your socks wrong, before you know it you've got frost nip, frostbite, plus the other things that you've got. So for example, you're no longer just running across solid ground, now you can sink up to your waist in snow and ice. I decided that I was going to go and do this race. I was going to go and experience it, and whatever happened, I was just going to go and enjoy it. So we did our usual kit checks, pretty smooth. The medics came round, who I've got to say did an amazing job, as they always do. And then it was pretty much, you know, first night in an Arctic teepee on the snow. It was good, you know. There was plenty of insulation from the reindeer skins. All right, they were a bit smelly, but you know, it was cold, but it was manageable. Once you get yourself wrapped up inside your sleeping bag, I found it an amazing night's sleep.
Hi mate, first night on snow, reindeer skin, Si, Chris, Holly.
The outside.
Yeah, the outside. Frabs.
So the next day was day one, and as it always is, there's a lot of nervous energy. You know, people kind of fiddling with kit. I started cold. It was, you know, something that we learnt in the Marines and, you know, mountain training. You know, start pretty cold. I knew from a friend of mine, Si Davis, who'd done the event the year before, that the first sort of 10k would have been down a road like a track. So I thought, right, start cold and try and get a bit of distance between me and the next person down this road. And it was exactly what I expected it to be, up until the point where we came across a moose that had hurt itself on the road. And then we kind of got off the main road onto the frozen lakes, and that was a whole new experience. You know, your feet were slipping everywhere, you were sinking up to your ankles in soft snow, and it was testing, and I knew then that it was going to be a really testing environment. One thing that I kind of not thought about was, often you sort of think, oh, right, we'll just cut straight across this frozen lake, but a lot of the routes was around lakes, and which meant that you can see where you're going, but you've got to follow the route, which can be a bit, not tedious is the wrong word, but it can test you, you know. You test your mental resolve, because you just want to go path of least resistance straight from A to B, and you're kind of not getting that.
Hey up. So what I've done, about 32k I think. Done 3 checkpoints. Got another checkpoint to go, and then another 10k from there back into camp. So it's been quite mild today. Still have to like look after your skin and all that kind of stuff. Got a little skidoo coming now, but it's not been too cold. Achilles, everything holding up quite well. Here you go, check this out. You would not believe, but that is me filming Chris, filming me. As you can see, there's not a great deal to see here. And then we're kind of heading over to these hills over here. So, yeah, just steady away. Got a few pains, aches, as you would do when you've done like 35k in the Arctic, but just cracking on. A couple of pink bits on my cheeks. Might need to keep an eye on for the old frostbite. Right, I'm gonna crack on. See you later.
And then from there into the soft snow. I left it as long as I could before I got the snowshoes on. I didn't really want to be running in snowshoes, but there was just no choice. You know, you was up to your knees, sometimes your thighs, trying to get through snow, and it just became a battle. I eventually got the snowshoes on, and then it was just one foot in front of the other for the rest of the day, really. The strap on the back of the snowshoes was causing me some problems, and I picked up some blisters on the first day. But what was immense was all the aches and pains that were in my calves, and literally walking around the Leah the day before, I was thinking, am I really going to get through this? Literally, that day, those aches and pains just disappeared, which was just incredible, you know. And I just thought, right, we're on, we're doing this now, and as long as I can stay fit enough and avoid injury and look after my kit and that, I thought we're going to do this. We really are going to do this. Finished first day, I think I was 5th or 6th on the first day, which again, for someone who had no intention of running, had no intention of challenging. What was also great was my friend Lee was not far behind me, and Si Dix was absolutely killing it at the front, and he would go on to win the race. And I know he's worked really, really hard for that win, so fair play to him and good effort.
The stars just seem so much clearer. There just seems to be so many more stars than what you're used to. And when you really start to look at the sky, you can start to pick out satellites going over the sky, and it's just amazing. And it was amazing that night. So day 2 was the mountain stage, what we call the mountain stage, which means you'd go over a couple of features. One was quite big and very, very harsh, or set to be quite harsh at the top. And I wasn't really looking forward to the elevation. Traditionally, I've struggled with the hills on some of these races, and I really wasn't looking forward to it. But I got off to a good start. Got to the first hill and started kind of making my way up there, and I became aware of the blisters again. Like, you know, I had the snowshoes on. I could feel the skin tearing on the back of the feet. It's not a great sensation, you know, but it is what it is. A couple of paracetamols and you kind of crack on. So once I was over the hill, the temperature really dropped. I think we got to like -20, -25 at one point. I mean, the Royal Marines are Arctic warfare specialists, and in the Marines, like, all training stops at -30 degrees. So to be running and cracking on in very little kit at -25, it was an experience, you know, and it was a case of just regulating your body temperature with both your heart, putting a different jacket on, you know, another pair of gloves on, and just looking after yourself like that. And it was surprising how well you could moderate your temperature just with a couple of items of clothing. Day 3 was set to be the lakes stage, so we would be going over lots of frozen lakes. And this is where I kind of, you know, I tried to settle down into a decent pace. I'd made a decision that I weren't going to wear any snowshoes at all that day, because it was just creating so many problems with blisters on my heels. And they were at a stage where I couldn't really dress them anymore. I mean, I'd got the medics to put some dressings on them to prevent any more friction and stuff, but they were only going to get worse. There's no way I could get them any better and still do the miles. And the day pretty much went without a hitch, apart from one stage where I'd left it just a little bit too long to put some extra gloves on, and I kind of lost feeling. It was strange when you got to a checkpoint. And after you'd sort of faffed around with your stuff and had a bit to eat and all that kind of stuff and get going again, then you find that as the blood flow started coming back to your hands and your extremities, they would start to hurt, and you know, you'd know that you need to keep them warm and get the blood flowing, but it hurt. There was one stage where I more or less lost all feeling in my right hand, and I was even at one point running with my hand down the front of my trousers trying to warm it up, because I just could not get it warm. And eventually I got to the next checkpoint and I was like, right, I've got a bit of a problem. The race director Chris was there, and I said, I've got a bit of a problem with this hand, I can't get it warm. He goes, right, take your glove off and get it next to the burner where there was heating up water. I took my glove off and my hand was black. Everybody was like, what the f***, thinking, you know, it was frostbite or whatever, and it was the dye from my brand new gloves had leached out onto my hand. So I was like, it's dye, it's all right, don't worry about it. I got it warmed up, got some extra mittens on, and then set off, and that was fine. And
hey up! So day 3, got a marathon distance today across a lot of frozen lakes, so temperature's really dropped. I can barely move my lips. It's about I think it was about -28 when we set off. Might be a little bit warmer now. We're doing all right. Feel a bit tired today, but it's to be expected. So just thought I'd do this little message. Got a hill coming up now, so I'm going to get away and probably do another little video a bit later on. Take care.
Day 3 was okay, apart from it got to a point where I was running through a forest. It was quite a narrow track that the skidoo had come along and made, and a skidoo came up behind me, so I stepped to one side and just went straight into like a small gully, like a small frozen stream or whatever, and twisted my knee. The skidoo pulled up alongside and they kind of helped, you know, they pulled me out of the hole and everything, and then they kind of carried on, and I was like, oh,
I've crunched that a little bit, and you know, I definitely strained, or it was still a niggle, and it was a niggle that I didn't really need. I thought that, you know, if I need to walk it all, I'll walk it all, and that'll be it, that'll be fine. But I found that actually it hurt more when I walked, and it hurt less when I run. So I just ran, and I ran the rest of the way, and you know, I just thought, bonus, and I still felt all right. But now I had this little tweak in my knee. So I had a few painkillers, and it was just bearable, you know, to get through. The good news was that, like, the paracetamol, that just took the edge off the blisters as well, so it meant I can kind of carry on. Like in other events, I'd be constantly looking over my shoulder, thinking, right, you know, I've got to stay in front, I've got to keep going. You know, I'd be racing. You know, people watching this will know what I mean by that, and I didn't have that for this event, because of the expectations that I'd set before I even got there. It was just a case of, you know, I just need to get through this. And I just, in my head, I was thinking, if anybody overtakes me, well, fair play to them, they can have it, because they must have worked hard to get past me.
Day 4 was set to be the long stage, 64 kilometres, and I knew that I would spend most of today on my own, thinking. And even 20 kilometres in, I knew it was going to be a special day. My friend once told me that you appreciate things the most when you no longer have them, when every day is no longer every day. And it's not about being grateful for the things you have, it's about being grateful for all the things that make you who you are.
I was finally coming across a road and seeing traffic, you know, because all week you'd not seen much sign of life, really, apart from the odd skidoo or someone on a dog sled or someone in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. To see a car was strange. It was weird. You know, all of a sudden you was like, my God, you know, I'm getting close to civilization, and it was weird. I remember the kind of the stillness of the air when there was no wind. I remember the different types of snow, like sometimes it was like snow crystals and flakes, other times it was like a slush, like other times it was just like concrete, and it was just, you know, so many different types of snow and ice.
On this stage, I was reminded that it's not the things you know about stuff that counts, it's the stuff you know about yourself.
I think the people at the back they have a harder race, you know, that they're out in those conditions so much longer than people at the front, and therefore they need more water, they need more food, they're exposed to the cold more, they're not moving as fast, so they need more layers of clothing. It's just a different race, and I don't think I would like it. I mean, some people was finishing the days in the dark. Now to get into the camp and to turn yourself around, get yourself fed and watered when everyone else was sleeping, I mean, it is a challenge, and I've got the utmost respect for anybody that's at the back of the race, and, you know, being under no illusion that yeah, it's tough to stay up the front, but by God, it's a challenge to be at the back. The last day was probably the most challenging for me. It was only 15k, and the majority of people had sort of said, you know what, we're just going to plod along and get it done and get to the finish line. And for some reason, and I don't know why, and I've spoke to him about it, and I don't think he knows why, Lee just went for it. And I was like, right, well, I'll just stay with him, you know. Quicker we get this 15k done, the quicker, you know, you can get your reindeer broth and you know, get a bottle of, and get a beer or something like that. And
it shot off, and at a breakneck speed. Now, I was stupid enough to go with him, and I think it's easy to underestimate that 15k after you've done like 40 and 60k days previously. 15, you think 15k, well, that's not a right lot, but it is enough to catch you out. And my knee was bad, and I just kind of hung on to him. And I think what happened was we went up this quite steep hill after a couple of k, and just absolutely bouldered down the other side. I mean, reckless. It was a reckless pace and a reckless thing to do, really. But you know, we just went for it, and I was chasing Lee, and whether he was trying to stay in front of me, I don't know, but we just went at a crazy pace, and I think that hurt my knee even more. So then later on, when I was getting towards the end of the 15k, it was, you know, it was pretty bad, it was pretty sore and almost unbearable. It was amazing. At one point, we went through a little village, and there was cabins either side, and reindeer kicking about, and you know, most people in the UK would look at a reindeer and it's almost a magical animal, isn't it? You know, if it farted glitter, you'd be like, okay, hell yeah, that's what reindeers do, and they fly and bring you presents and stuff. But over there, they're just seen as like cows and other sort of farmed animals. But I saw these reindeer, then not long afterwards, Si caught up with us, and it eventually turned into me, Lee and Si for the last sort of 5 or 6k all the way back to the finish line. My lowest point was probably 2 or 3k from the finish line. I was in a lot of pain then, and I felt I was holding them back a little bit, and that, I think, psychologically had a bit of an effect, and whether it enhanced the pain, I don't really know, but that was probably my lowest point there.
Just coming up to the end of the 230k Arctic race. There are a couple of me good pals from the jungle. Si, Craig. Si's the winner. Left these lads in the jungle.
And then we got to the finish line. We crossed the finish line. Joined third for the stage, and I was 5th overall. I think Lee was 6th overall, and Si had won it, which was for him was just incredible. And the clip of him on the finish line, I'll just remember that for the rest of my life. It was just great.
Mr. X, incredible week, mate, incredible week. Yeah, you seem to be feeling pretty good. You've done it, pal. The race is yours. Ice Ultra 2020. Incredible.
Knees are buckled, my heart's pumping, but my mind is just bloody. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Great experience. Tough work, but just on that limit of unachievable and achievable. It's been an amazing challenge.
Would I do it again?